Sister Mary Jones. I'm an Adrian Dominican sister, currently missioning at Siena Heights University. I've been there for about 4 years, and in addition, I have served at our Regina Dominican High School, at St. Mary's Dominican High School in Louisiana, and spent some time in Atlanta, Georgia. My vocation story is kind of long, so we won't go into everything. However, I will say that I probably had the first inkling back in the early 80s. I was in Lansing and had just decided that I would not follow my fiance into a life in the Air Force. He was going to be commissioned, he wanted to be a lifer, and I realized that if I chose to be with him, then that meant that I wouldn't have the freedom to follow whatever I was called to do. And so as I was working in my backyard, just the sense filled me that I have something very special planned for you. Just filled my being, and I had no doubt it was a conversation with God at that moment. However, I had no idea what that meant, and so I just went on with my life. And the call came again about almost 20 years later, and I listened, and I had no idea what it meant to be a sister in the 21st century. So I had to do what I know how to do, which is research. I was working for Ford Motor Company at the time, and so that was one of the things I knew how to do. And it was a wonderful experience to explore how different communities lived religious life. And I did explore different communities. I met up with Sister Nancy Murray, who at the time was the vocation director for the Adrian Dominican Sisters. And the blessing that was her bubbly personality and the joy that she enters every day with showed me that I was truly being called for the person that God had made me to be so far, that I didn't have to fit into a box, that I didn't necessarily have to be overly holy, that God calls us for who God has made us to at that point. And that I also knew that I now had everything I needed to be what I was called to be, which is part of this congregation. So what might be a piece of advice I would give to a young person or a person who's established with considering religious life? Listen to your heart. Be in the quiet, let God speak to you, and find someone that you can walk with. I would say that one of the best pieces that helped me was having a mentor and being able to talk about my questions, my concerns, and especially if you are living in a life right now that is established, it's a big change, and you're asked to change. And so being open for those changes and knowing that they're going to happen, but knowing that you have a community behind you to walk with you. So that's probably the biggest piece of advice I would give. And if you need to talk, hey, I'm here.